Welcome to the Iron Man faceplate servo mechanism explanation video. Yes, it's about time. I've almost got the first run done here, so I figured it'd be good to put a video together showing you all the packages, how everything works, and how to assemble it when you receive your package. So, this is regardless of the package you order, this is what you will receive. So you'll get the servo mechanism 3D printed. You will get the HS125mg servo, and you'll get a battery which is spliced into 2 ports, as well as this USB to micro B cable for charging. Okay, so I'm going to show you now each of the packages one at a time. We'll go through them and explain how they work. Okay, so first up, we've got the just basic servo package. Okay, it's very small. This is all it is: accelerometer, Arduino, and boost/charger. Okay. Now every unit, regardless of light, sound, whatever, they all include this boost charge unit. This is where your micro B cable plugs into, and there will be a switch. Now on this guy, the switch is here. On the other ones, it's on the back of the accelerometer. And what you're looking to do, if you have this model, okay, so just the servo, the switch can go towards, you'll see a little EN on the one side here. The EN, if you switch it towards that, turns the boost unit from boosting the power into a charger. So if it's towards EN, it is charging the battery that is plugged into this port here. Okay, if you switch it back, that's when you're using it in your helmet away from EN, and that will give power to the servo and no longer be obviously charging the batteries. Okay, so with this, speaking of batteries, you'll get a lithium polymer battery. This is 850 milliamp hours. Sorry, you can get larger versions if you want. Splice them and hook them up. It'll give you a much longer lifetime for one charge. However, these are pretty substantial for anything you're going to need. They'll give you at least a good few hours. And all you want to do is, doesn't matter, red, blue, doesn't really matter. One of them for this unit, okay, one of them goes into the boost charger. They are a little bit of a snug fit, so just be careful when you're removing them. But when you plug them in, this turns on. Now the switch, notice, does not control the power on the Arduino. That's just because of the limitations of this setup, and that just means when you're done using it, you're going to have to unplug the batteries to turn it off. Okay, but again, either one can be plugged in, and when you're charging, it just needs to be plugged into that port to do it. So, only other piece to this then really is the servo, and the servo, this is the same setup for every package I offer. Looks like this guy. Okay, has 3 wires. Black is ground, red is power, yellow is signal. On all of the units, what I've done is there are 3 prongs here near the front of the unit. So we're calling this the front, the accelerometer is the back. Okay, and what you want to do is your yellow wire on your servo has to match up with the yellow wire on here. Okay, so you're going to slide it onto these 3 prongs. Be gentle, but you will have to use a little bit of force just to get them on there. Once you've attached it, there's really no need that you need to unattach it. So what I recommend is maybe a little bit of hot glue there just to secure it in place. As you can see, it is a little precariously suspended there, but just anything to secure it would be good. But again, that's only once you're confident, yeah, this is good, I'm happy with it, where everything's situated. Okay, so that's it for this setup. There's not much to it. Okay, and what we're looking to do then is put this now into the servo mechanism, the 3D printed part. Okay, so with this, what you'll notice is there is a tiny little peg that comes with. That pairs up with, this is the left arm. Okay, right now this is facing the front. This is the front of the helmet, or the faceplate goes onto this. So the first thing you have to do is deal with that little peg. Now, I didn't assemble these because I wanted you to, perhaps you don't want it to be white in your helmet, so you can paint it first if you need to. But just be aware that any parts that need to be placed in one another. It's already a snug fit, so I wouldn't recommend painting like these parts where one has to slide into another piece. Okay, it's just going to make the friction really tight. They're pretty smooth right now, but I wouldn't want to risk that. So the first thing that you're going to do is pop in your. Now I may have already done this on some of yours, but basically you're just going to have to take the little peg, put it on the inside of the servo housing, and then just squeeze it into that spot. It's a pretty tight fit, okay? And then we're going to slide the left arm into that hole, and it will slide on, okay? So that's the first step. Second step then is taking our servo, okay? So servo, as you can see, it's perfectly fits the hole there. It's a really snug fit though, so I've got it upside down, pardon me. It's a really tight fit, so when you are placing it in, before we do that, the most important thing, okay, make sure you're listening to this, is before you place it into the servo housing, okay? And again, because it's so tight, I wouldn't recommend painting on the inside of here, not that you really need to, just maybe the outside if you don't want to see the white, okay? But really important, this servo head here, okay, the gear that actually attaches to the arm, it's really tight hard to rotate with just your fingers, so I've got a pair of pliers, but do not force this. All you need to do is rotate it. So if you're looking at it from this direction, we want to rotate it towards like the close position. All right, so this is the way it situates in the helmet, is like this. So I'm rotating it just the closed position. It stops on its own. You don't have to force it. All you want to do is make sure that it's in the closed position before you put it into the servo case here. Okay. So once we've got that, which I'm quite happy with, you're gonna just make sure that's fully rotated forwards. Then pop it in. And maybe a little bit of a snap. So that's in there now. The wire can fit right in that little slot. And then all we're doing is taking this piece here, which I'm calling the centerpiece. Now, be careful. It is not. It is symmetrical not in every direction. Okay, so when you're putting this on, you'll know that it's on right if everything lines up flush. Now, for example, here, if I put this on. Let's see. Okay, like that. The rotation, there is a bit of rotation, which is supposed to be there, is limited, but you can see that it stays, it doesn't rotate inside of the arm, okay? So it can rotate forwards, and it can stop when it's about parallel to this line here, but it rotates that way. So that means you've got it on the right way. If I put it on the wrong way, you'll see the limitation actually allows it to rotate inside the arm, and that's not what you want. Okay, so make sure that you're paying attention to that when you attach this. Okay, so it's going to go on this way, and you've got a limitation. That looks pretty good. And our last piece then is just the right arm. Okay, now the right arm has this nice little groove, so it locks into the left arm. Now this is where, if you want, okay, now it's not mandatory. This is something I'm going to do with mine. I would put a little bit of glue there, throw this guy on, make sure you got it the right way, okay, and then pop this guy in there. Now, fast-acting glue means you got to be really quick with this. If you have something that takes a little bit to cure and is not going to leak on the inside of this centerpiece, great, that's what you're looking for, okay? That's what I said. It's going to be a tricky shot, but it is only going to help reinforce this from preventing it from falling apart. Okay. Now I haven't squeezed it onto the servo gear yet, but it is going to be a very tight fit on there. Okay, so you are going to have to use quite a bit of force to squeeze it into place. I'm not going to do it with this one yet, but it is a really tight fit. Now the only thing you need to pay attention to is making sure the servo case is aligned with the arms. Okay, if you squeeze it on when it's like this, it's going to be out of the range that you want for the mask to open and close with. Okay, so this is measured so it's perfectly aligned with when your mask should close, and you just want to make sure that it's level there. That's all we're looking for, and then you can squeeze it on, and everything will fit together very nicely, and it's going to be a tight grip on there, and I did that intentionally so that it wouldn't slip. Sorry, as I was saying, I did that intentionally so that it wouldn't slip off of the servo head there, okay? So once you've got that squeezed together, should be good to go. That's the last piece of assembly for this package anyways. And then what you have the option of doing is in your nice little servo box here is a little baggie, and it comes with this tiny little black screw. Now, you don't have to use this, you can, but what it means is before you put all this stuff together, you would want to drill a hole, a small hole with the same diameter as the screw here, okay, through the right arm, this little part here that mounts onto the servo head. And the reason for that is if you want, you can use the screw to just give a little bit extra security, prevent it from slipping on the gear. Now again, it's pretty tight already. You're gonna have to use quite a bit of force just to get it on here without the screw, so don't worry about it. But if you wanted, you could use this. You just would have to drill a small hole through there. The 3D printing didn't come out as clean as I wanted, so if you want to use this, you can. You're just gonna have to pre-drill that hole, and then stick it in this part, and you can screw it in there. Okay, so that's it for the assembly. This procedure is going to be used for every package. I will just go through now and show the alternate features for the other packages. Okay, so what we're looking at for the other guys, the next model up is with sound, with lights and no sound. Okay, so as you can see, it's almost identical to the other, the previous unit. The only difference here is there's one JST plug in the exact same spot as on the other unit, and then this one here. But you'll notice there's another one now, which is used for the eyes. Okay, so this is just for the eye circuit. Now, this circuit comes with another battery, all right, which you'll notice only has one wire, so you don't mix them up. This one plugs into here on the back of the eye circuit, okay? And if I was wearing the helmet right now, then the JST actually mounts. You can put some hot glue right on here inside of your mask, but it actually sits facing away from your face. So the little JST plug there away from your face, okay? These guys will mount on the top of the eye lenses, which I've got around here. I will be printing off one of these for everyone, okay? But this is just kind of how they mount, is like that. So you'll get the lenses, you'll mount them on here. You can use it glue, you can tape, whatever you need to over the top, and then block off the back. But that's the eye circuit. So it runs up to here, and it has the same connector as the battery. So you do have to pay attention when you're plugging them in. Now, the one you want to use to plug in the eye circuit, if you have just, even if you have the full complete unit, same thing. Make sure you're, if you really want to pay attention, there's a number 10 and 11 on the back of the Arduino. That is for the, or it's actually 11 and 12 it's plugged into. That's where your eyes go. Okay, so it's plugged into the 11 and 12 on the Arduino. That JST connector is where your eyes connect. Okay, so there's that. Otherwise, it's the same thing. You've got your boost slash charger here. Now, because this battery is connected to a different circuit, if you need to charge it, you will have to swap out, take this one out completely, all right, disconnect both of these, pop this battery into here, and then plug in your USB, and you can charge the eye battery. Now, you do have two separate batteries. It just made the most sense for placement and power and longevity of the system. These LEDs consume quite a bit, so I thought, okay, let's put an extra battery in there. The only hassle is, yeah, you do have to plug it into here and unplug the other one to charge it, okay? But that's it, same setup. This is the front again. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, the boost charger and the battery plug should be on the bottom of when you're putting in your helmet. Make sure that they're facing down. All right, so that's your accelerometer should be facing upright. This is the back of the helmet, this is the front, okay? So tilting like this. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. So that's the second unit there. This is just lights. I don't have a just sound unit. Most people have gone with the full unit, or but if you have just sound, you can contact me and I can give you some further explanation. But it's going to be fairly simple, very straightforward as this. Okay, so that is our just lights and servo. All right, on to our final model here, package. Okay, this is much larger than the previous two, but necessarily so. It's still fairly small, like this is the size of my hand, okay? On top of your head, you've got lots of room, and it's still really, really slim. All right. So noticeable additions to this one are the sound unit and the audio amplifier. Also, the switch has been moved to the back here, okay? For on and off, you can put a little label on there if you want, but it's, I mean, you'll know because the lights will turn on when it's on and turn off when it's off. Now, this switch does actually turn the power off to the Arduino, so you're going to be able to conserve a bit more power than the previous units. That's just, again, because of the way that this is set up. So, with this, you will get your double battery, and that plugs directly into the two brownish colored, or in some cases it might be black for this one, but the two on the red boards, JST plugs, that's where your dual battery is going to plug into. Okay, this port is just like in the previous one I showed you, is for the eye light circuit. Okay, so that plugs into the white guy there, and again, numbers 11 and 12 on there if you want to be sure. Okay, so that's where this JST plug is connected to. It has a 2 GB micro SD card on there. There are 3 sound files on there, the open, the close, and one more that I'll show you in a moment. And again, the servo is mounted at the front. The USB port is right there, and any battery plugged into this port only will be charged when this switch is off. Okay, so when the circuit is off, you plug that in, connect a battery to here. You'll see no other lights on this, but there should be a little red light that turns on here to show you that it's charging. Okay, so let me connect it here and show you what it all looks like hooked up. Now, some of you have been asking, okay, for a demo of this in a helmet. I am getting together very soon with Surreal Studios, and I will be demoing it in one of his helmets. Okay, so just be a little bit more patient with me, and it will be good to go. So right now you can tell I've got it off because the batteries are plugged in and there are no lights on. Okay, so that means it's in the off position, which for most of you should, I guess, be that way. So whatever that means to you right now. So then I'm going to plug in the eyes, and again, the eye circuit, it's up to you. But when you got this connected, the way this is going to sit is this sits maybe right about here. The eye circuit's going to be right underneath this hinge, or maybe not right, but somewhere below this centerpiece. Okay. Now I did design it so that this hole in the center is big enough to put a JST plug through. You may have to do a, yeah, there you go. So if you want, when you're connecting this all, that is a nice way to feed the wire up through and keep it contained within the servo mechanism there. You may have to just weave it through one of the armholes and then plug it into the JST plug on here. But just so you know, that is an option. Again, for the previous versions I didn't show that, but yeah, definitely a good idea for keeping everything solid, contained, whatever. So we're going to then plug in the eye circuit here, and it just goes into this little white JST plug here. Okay, so right now obviously it's quite it's all hanging everywhere, but not a problem. And then we've got our servo, which I've just got sitting in the case right now just for demonstration purposes. And again, yellow wire, there it is. Okay, yellow wire, line them up. And with this unit, just like with as I explained with the previous ones, all of the JST plugs should be facing downwards. Now, this speaker can be positioned wherever you want it to. For me, it made the most sense just to be like on the top of the helmet. It's far enough away from your ears. It's not going to be like really loud, but it should give you a sense and broadcast as far as possible all the sounds that I'm going to demo for you right now. Okay, and lastly but not least, we got to plug in this battery for the eye circuit. Now, the batteries for all of these units, what I recommend is maybe like a plastic bag or some little pouch that you can slide it into on the face mask. Plastic bag is good because it keeps moisture off the electronics. So if you can contain some of the stuff in that, it's probably a good idea from your breath. And then even for the one on top, just something to just slide the battery in so it's not falling over. You don't have to glue it to the inside. You can remove it if needed. So something like that, a little pocket on the inside would be good. The rest of the unit, I mean, you can hot glue it right to the inside of your helmet if you want, but just needs to be secured at the top. Okay, so we've got our servo on there. We've got our double battery plugged in. We got the eye light circuit plugged in, and then the battery for that one. And let's just turn it on and see what happens.
I have indeed been uploaded, sir. We are online and ready.
So the drivers will greet you the first time you turn it on, okay, which is kind of fun to demo to people if you want. So there's the circuit. When you tilt it, when you do the flick back, you'll get that open. The eyes will fade off. And then when you flick forwards, there's a metal clank. There's the eyes fade on. And that's it. There's your circuit. Okay, so everything works really well. It's a really slim container. You can secure some of these wires a little better than what I've obviously got them right now. Just wanted to show you this is how the circuit works. These are the available packages. So if you have any questions, obviously fire me an email. But as I said, it's fairly straightforward. I just wanted to give you the ability to customize if you want to paint, whatever. Better to do that and then assemble it yourself. Just want to mention a few more things. One being on the centerpiece of the hinge system, this is what mounts directly to your faceplate. Now, I've designed it specifically for my helmet, but it should fit to most standard helmets. The inside of the faceplate is a bit curved, so is this. Okay. What I recommend though, regardless, is give this a bit more surface area. Like you'll want to glue, but perhaps you want to put like a piece of thin foam on there. Even cardboard, I guess, would be fine. Just something to give you a bit more contact surface between this and the faceplate. So however you do that is up to you. But that's one recommendation that I'll make. Especially for the wide servo, you may need to raise it just a little bit to make sure it has that clearance you need. And then just wanted to reiterate again, because I don't know if I made this extremely clear, but this is the orientation. So this is just the servo unit. It doesn't have all the sound and light stuff, but regardless, on every one of my packages, they all have this accelerometer. Okay. In terms of orientation, that points towards the back of your head, and the accelerometer should be upright. Okay, so that means that all the components should be facing the top, the inside of the helmet, the top. Okay, so when you have it on top there, this is what it should look like relative to your head. Okay, so again, this points to the back. You can see where the servo prongs are. Servo goes in front of this unit, so that should help you orient it. And then, yes, in terms of which goes upright, it's very important that, yeah, this is the top here. And I don't think I've left anything out. Just heed the really important things. I'll review them one more time. Before you install this servo, make sure you insert that little peg into the left hole here. And make sure you rotate that servo head completely forwards before attaching the right arm. Okay, really important, and then that is aligned with the servo case. Really important before you do that. Okay, so I think other than that, that's the mechanisms. That's how they work. Hopefully, they accomplished what everyone was hoping, and yeah, that's it. Fire me a message. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will be sending out everyone's units very soon.